The challenge was to complete this conversion of total minutes into hours and minutes by calculating the number of hours. PHP doesn't have an operator for integer division, so we need to do a little extra work ourselves. The simple solution is to subtract the remainder from the original number and then divide it by 60. So I'm going to add in a new line on line 6. We'll save the result as hours. Then we need the original number, which was total minutes. Subtract the remainder, which was minutes. We got that from the modulus operator, and then divide by 60. But I hope you remember that division takes precedence over subtraction, so to get the correct result, we need to put this first part of the calculation into a pair of parentheses. And we can now replace the two question marks in the double quoted string with that variable hours. And if we save that and load the page into the browser, we get the result that the time taken was 5 hours and 18 minutes. So that was pretty simple. What I hope you didn't do was to use actual numbers in the calculation, apart from dividing by 60. The advantage of using variables is that the calculation still produces the correct result if we change the value of total minutes. So let's change total minutes from 318 to 640, and if we save that and reload in the browser, we now get that the time taken was 10 hours and 40 minutes. This solution works in all versions of PHP, but there's an alternative that works only in PHP 7. There was a proposal to introduce a new operator for integer division in PHP 7, but that was rejected. Instead, there's a new function called intDiv. We'll be looking at functions in more detail in Chapter 6, but this one's pretty simple to use. So I'm going to go back in here and I'll comment out that line. Then on the next line, we'll have our hours variable, and then we need the intDiv function. After the function name is a pair of parentheses, and between the parentheses you need to enter two numbers or variables that represent numbers and separate them with a comma. The first value is the number you want to divide, so that's total minutes, then the comma, and the second value is the number you want to divide it by, so that's 60. So if we save that and reload this in the browser, we should get the same answer as before. And indeed we do. But remember, of course, that your server must be using PHP 7 for this to work. It won't work in PHP 5. So there are two solutions to performing integer division in PHP. The simple one uses modulo division to find the remainder and then subtracts the remainder from the original number to get a value that will be divided an exact number of times. In PHP 7, though, you can use this intDiv function. This takes two arguments. The first argument is the numerator, in other words, the number you're dividing, and the second argument is the divisor, the number you're dividing it by.